Good morning, it's the 19th of May 2024, just up here on Ventnor Downs. It's about 8 in the morning, just having a quick walk along the top edge of Coombe Bottom, I think, which is just down this way. See if there's any migrants around. I think there's quite a few red-backed shrikes this spring at the moment. So you never know. This looks like good habitat on the south coast for one to pitch down in for a couple of hours maybe. Fail to find a mate and then move on. Shame really. Red-backed shrikes must be a candidate for recolonisation at some point if we can just create a bit more habitat, a bit more shrubby grassland mosaics. I've got a booklet on that subject actually. I'll link to it in the description to this video. But they love these kind of mosaics of open grassland with short grazed areas and pockets of shrubs widely scattered. This is a bit dense here, but although this is good red-backed shrike habitat in principle, I'm sure they used to nest here when there used to be enough of them, sort of thing. But yeah, they're obviously sit and hunt sort of predators, so they sit on a little, well, wire strand or a field rose stem out in grassland, as close to tightly grazed areas or disturbed ground, lawns like this path here, grazed by bunnies in this case, or cattle as well. And they basically wait for a beetle or, well, usually a beetle, to fly into view, not to fly into view, to wander into view out in the open, and they'll rush down and grab at it. They love dung associated beetles, so unfortunately most dung is now laced with chemicals, ivermectins of various sorts, which kills all the invertebrates. But if the dung is clean, and full of insects of various sorts, particularly beetles, then that provides a really important food source for red-backed shrikes. And bumblebees as well. So grassland like this, if it was on neutral sort of neutral grassland, then full of wildflowers and therefore full of bumblebees, and that would be a key food resource for red-backed shrikes too. On a still warm day when there are plenty of bumblebees flying around, the shrikes will probably catch them in the air. They love odonata as well, damselflies and dragonflies, so any little area of water nearby that attracts those, although bigger dragonflies will obviously hunt over dry ground like this in late summer. So go for those, and orthoptera, grasshoppers and bush crickets. So you kind of want a mosaic really, if you want both orthoptera and the beetles that are accessible. You want a mosaic of really short grassland and areas of tussocky grassland. Tussocky grassland full of grasshoppers, and the shorter ground where the beetles have to break cover to run over shorter ground, and they're visible and accessible to the red-backed shrikes. And then obviously they'll nest in thorny shrubs and maybe an emergent short small tree in a clump of shrubs out in the middle of tussocky and tightly grazing areas, grassland. So even a crabapple or wild pear or something they'll nest in, or hawthorn, or something like that emerging from a kind of a wall, a small area of scrub. They tend to like smaller areas of scrub rather than continuous banks of the stuff or mounds of the stuff. So broken scrub in open grassland that's full of wildflowers, the odd wetland here and there to draw in the damselflies and dragonflies. Easy habitat to create if we want to bring red-backed shrikes back. So basically, if we get going now, working with farmers and other landowners like councils that have county farms, to create nice big patches of grassy shrubland mosaics that are grazed by cattle ideally, that definitely haven't been treated with cattle dung. Sorry, treated with avermectins, so the cattle dung is clean. And given time, or really not given time, given success on the near continent in terms of productivity, redback shrikes might spill over in spring and start to colonise any suitable habitat. I think one of the issues now really is just too few birds, redback shrikes, are coming over in spring, and they're just failing to pair up in what looks like suitable habitat. I mean, to my eye, this could support a few pairs of redback shrikes if there were just some coming through in the spring and meeting each other. It's no good having just one male redback shrike on territory singing away if there isn't a female within a kilometre or two, and there just isn't the numbers coming through at the moment. But the European Breeding Atlas just suggests that their numbers might be increasing on the near continent in some areas of northern France, Belgium I think, and the Netherlands, so you never know, they might be enough. What we need to do is keep an eye on the situation in spring, and if we kind of see signs that the numbers are gradually increasing in terms of spring migrants overshooting, then you never know. One issue with redback shrikes is that once they nest, once a pair successfully nests, if they survive, they'll come back to the same nest in territory sort of thing year after year, as I think they did on Dartmoor. So that's high kind of nesting site philopatree, site fidelity if you like. So they'll come back to the breeding sites year after year, assuming they survive. But the juveniles tend not to. The juveniles have lower kind of fledging site, I suppose, philopatree. So they tend to disperse away from where they were raised, generally speaking. And so there are no, you need juveniles from other pairs to replace any adults that are lost from a territory. And if you don't have that, then you lose your redback shrike population, as happened on Dartmoor, I think. So I think juvenile shrikes, redback shrikes, included are dispersive. They show low natal site philopatree or fidelity because they're basically following early successional habitats around landscapes. That's what they're wired to do. So this habitat's fairly stable, but in in kind of pre-human natural forests in Europe, or natural landscapes in Europe, there would have been a mosaic, lots and lots of closed canopy woodland, but also lots and lots of shifting mosaics of open habitats. And having a low natal site philopatree, i.e. moving around a lot, rather than going back to where you were born the following spring, that would mean that shifting mosaic of habitats would be followed around by those juvenile shrikes on a long time scale sort of thing. We're talking decades, because this open habitat does last a long time. This area is several decades old and is only very slowly being recolonised or colonised by shrubs. It was arable for a while before the National Trust acquired it and turned it into this acid grassland. We're on the gravel top here that overlays the chalk. What's that over there? It's a buzzard. Somebody had a bee eater over the downs just over that way yesterday, I think it was, and a cuckoo. Lots and lots of skylarks. And some linnets there going over. Excuse me. It's frustrating how everyone's ignoring the dogs on leash signs up here. This area is owned by the National Trust. It's full of ground nesting skylarks and meadow pipits. And the National Trust have put signs up very clearly displaying, please keep your dogs on a short lead. And everyone's ignoring it. Not everyone, but she had her lead on when she was coming up to me, but she's taken the dog off her lead now. And it's running around where all these skylarks are trying to nest. She's actually throwing balls to it where the skylarks are trying to nest. It's crazy really how completely blind and ignorant some dog walkers are. I'm going to film it and put it on YouTube because, well, you know, hopefully you can hear the skylarks. I've got the external microphone on. I'm using an Osmo or DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to record this. Kind of just testing it really. And I don't know how good this microphone will pick out birdsong of skylarks that are quite distant and linnets that are flying over. It probably won't pick them out at all. So yeah, John had a bee-eater and a cuckoo up here yesterday, I think that was, and a few days prior to that there were quite a few redback shrikes. What am I talking about? Chance will be a fine thing. Quite a few red kites, it's more like it, on the island. A skylark there. I've had nothing this spring to speak of. Had a small falcon yesterday over Ventnor Bay which looked a bit redfootish. Well, kind of looks very redfootish. It was just a silhouette, but had a longer looking tail and kind of a bit kestrelish in terms of flight, but a bit, well, very hobbyish in terms of structure. So I don't know, when it was being mobbed by a jackdaw, it just looks so much like a weird kestrel-y type, hobby type cross. I think it's possibly a red-footed falcon. It'd only be my second ever in the south of the Isle of Wight if it was one. But we'll never know because it hasn't been picked up on braiding marsh or anything, which is where it's most likely to pitch down on the Isle of Wight, I suppose. Not that they ever do. The people that watch braiding marsh, and there's quite a few now because of the eagles knocking around, they never see red-footed falcons there as far as I know. Plenty of hobbies. Wow, this is just below is Wroxall Copse, and all of the bigger ash trees are succumbing to ash dieback, and the shrubby understory's really taken off, so it's completely changed the nature of Wroxall Copse. It's a fascinating kind of dynamic ecological process going on there where the canopy, I mean, it is an open canopy because it's ash and they don't have a particularly dense canopy. So it's always quite sunny understory, or not sunny, kind of bright understory, dappled shade. But now a completely open understory, so I have to go in there at some point and see just how impenetrable it's become. But it's certainly changed the bird community. Presumably the woodpecker population will go up, and the tree creepers and that sort of stuff. I think the buzzards will be more exposed, and I don't know, interesting. Skylark's just going over. Trying to find a path going up towards the radar station again. One that I can walk along without squishing any skylarks. yeah, do subscribe to this channel if you're interested in things I'm going to be talking about. So this is just one of my bird watching walks this morning, but I'm going to be uploading a video on chough reintroduction along the south coast. A kind of not promoting the idea necessarily, just discussing the idea. I'll do other videos on kind of rewilding and nature conservation in general, and on tropical conservation as well, which I've worked on quite a lot in the past. There's quite a few linnets around there, obviously. Are they fledging yet? Perhaps they're just adults collecting seed for broods back in their nests. They nest in the gorse and bramble up here in good numbers, linnets. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you want to make a donation to keep me making videos, keep me supplied with coffee, then there's a buy me a coffee tab, and there's also a link in the description to this video. There's also a thanks tab next to the like button where you can make a donation to a particular video. This just helps keep me out in the field creating videos, which I'm going to be doing a lot of over the summer. Cracking place, this south coast of the Isle of Wight. Could do with a few more birders up here, finding rare birds for us, because I'm no good at that. I've never found a shrike. I obsess about redback shrikes, but I've never found one on anywhere in Ventnor or the Undercliff. It's crazy, really, because they must go through in, the odd one here or there, but I'm blind as a bat when it comes to finding shrikes here. Found them elsewhere, obviously. Woodchat and redback shrikes, but never in the Undercliff of the Isle of Wight or up here on Ventnor Downs. Today it doesn't look like I'm going to find anything. So dog runners also ignoring the dogs on lead signs. It's crazy. Look at that, right through where the skylarks are nesting. Oh well, thank you for watching, people. There's lovely pillboxes here. I'm going to head back down into Ventnor Bay and get a coffee, I think. So yeah, as I say, do subscribe, and there will be some more gripping videos coming up over the summer, and come the autumn, possibly some videos from Southeast Asia, maybe Cambodia or Thailand, we shall see. But for now, I'm going to go and get that cup of coffee.